Hey guys, what's up? This is Ryu. Today I'm here with my pal Legend. Today we're going to be talking about a topic that a lot of people have discussed in the past, a lot of people don't agree on, but we believe we found the answer to. Yes, that's right, I'm talking about Dabura versus Super Perfect Cell. Without further ado, I'm actually going to let my pal Legend here start, and he's going to talk a little bit about the Dabura side of things.
Thanks for the introduction, Ryu. Now, going on to this little discussion here, or lack of a better word for a video, because we know it's going to be nothing but a hell war down in the comments below. So I guess I ought to jump in with the AP. He should be at least equal to Super Perfect Cell because it's stated in multiple guidebooks, character entries, and statements from Goku and other Z fighters. Goku himself informs Supreme Kai that he had done battle with someone like Dabura 7 years ago. This is an obvious reference to Super Perfect Cell. There would be no reason for Goku to be backtracking on the claim being which form Cell was in. Also, to clear up another misconception people like to basically go on long diatribes about, is Gohan was indeed Super Saiyan 2 during the fight. The narrator states it, and so does Dabura's Daizenshu entry. Another thing to clarify is Vegeta's comment he had made towards Gohan, how he wasn't as strong when he fought Cell. This is in reference to the Rage Boost Gohan, who was fighting against Cell during that time. As for intelligence, Dabura is gifted as he should have at least 300 years of experience going back to his Daizenshu entry. He was more than capable of matching Gohan in combat, and Gohan himself has received training from Goku and Piccolo, who are both remarkable artists in their own right. Martial artists, I should say. I'm sorry. He also has great deductive capabilities, as he was able to figure out where Gohan was trying to catch him by surprise with a ki blast, despite not being able to sense ki or his ki blast. As for Dabura's weaponry, Dabura uses weapons ranging from time periods such as 15,000 BC to as recent as 10,000, 1,000 BC. Which would mean if Dabura really needed it, he would be able to materialize a shield because shields were around the same time period as swords and spears. And finally, as of relevant techniques go, there is his telekinesis. We have seen him use this against his fight with Gohan, and would be able to create diversions like how Frieza did against Goku on Namek, or he can use this to freeze Cell in place to possibly use his Stone Spit and beat him that way because the technique ignores durability. Next we have his After Image technique. He used this to catch Gohan off guard momentarily to inflict notable damage with his Hell Blitz attack. Also, another ability that people overlook is, people may not know this, but Dabura has a degree of minor regeneration. Whether he uses ki or magic of this application of it is unknown. But when Majin Buu essentially gouged out his eyes and kicked him to a side of a mountain, moments later his eyes are perfectly fine and intact. Now I'm just going to pass the torch over to my friend Ryu.
Yeah, basically Dabura isn't a pushover. Some people think that it's going to be an easy battle, and I'll say right now it's not going to be an easy battle either side. Because like was stated earlier, they both have a similar amount of power, and as we're going to get into, you already heard the Dabura side. Dabura is actually a fairly hacked character, but I'll get a little bit more into Cell now. As for some of the things that Cell's going to have to watch out for, the biggest and most obvious thing is of course the Stone Spit, because that could literally end him in one hit if he's not expecting it and he doesn't react fast enough to it. Worth mentioning, however, though, is that we know Cell is probably going to be able to, even if he is hit by it, tear off that part of his body and regenerate. I mean, considering he's at least as fast as Dabura, we can see people like Gohan are able to react fast enough to pull off their glove before they turn into stone. So there's a good chance that Cell gets hit by it the first time. However, there's also a good chance that he winds up countering it himself. So I would say that he probably has the tools in his arsenal, especially with his regeneration, so he can regenerate the body part back, to get around the Stone Spit in most scenarios. There is one, like was stated, perhaps Dabura could hold him in place long enough with telekinesis to use it and defeat him. That happening, though, Cell could also possibly break out of it, so it's not 100% guaranteed either way. So some further things that we would need to talk about when we look at Cell's power. This is a big one, and this is something that people will sometimes try to use to downplay Cell a lot. Some people will say that since Cell was defeated by Pikkon in only a couple of hits, that Cell is weak. In fact, some people will even claim he's weaker than base Goku at that point. It's of course a completely fallacious argument for several reasons, but I'll get into that right now. First of all, we know that Cell himself stated that he was going to defeat Goku, and he knew that Goku still had Super Saiyan in his arsenal. So that alone implies that Cell is at least above Super Saiyan Goku at that point. We also know that Pikkon caught him off guard, and he hit him with an attack that was literally buffed up with his ki in like a flaming type of charge. So we know Pikkon was more than likely being serious if he was putting his ki into his attacks and using a specialty type of attack against Cell, as opposed to just a casual chop or something like that to defeat Cell. Furthermore, of course, if you look at the actual manga and the guides, like was stated, Cell is supposed to be comparable to Dabura, and of course, Dabura isn't a pushover, and base Goku is not defeating Dabura. So those arguments kind of contradict the actual guides and manga. And also we know that Cell is known to suppress himself, and he was caught off guard. So it's a fallacious argument to say that Pikkon or Goku were vastly above Cell. It's unlikely, honestly. I think it's probably just Cell getting caught off guard and not having used most of his power yet, because we know that was the case when he fought Goku and when he fought Gohan initially. With that out of the way, we also could talk about one statement that I think is important. Goku at one point states that Dabura is tougher than he initially thought. Now, this is actually, if you look at the context, in reference to him figuring out that Dabura is utilizing magic. So Goku is referring to the fact that the magic makes Dabura tougher than he initially thought, not that Dabura is vastly stronger than he initially thought. So the argument that this means Dabura is vastly stronger than Super Perfect Cell, again, is incorrect, and it is also contradicted directly by the guides for anyone who tries to claim that it was Goku literally saying that he's tougher, therefore he's vastly stronger. So with that out of the way, now we can confirm that they're approximately equal in strength when they start the fight. I'm going to get into a few specific skills and moves that Cell actually has in this fight that are going to be relevant. First of all, again, when you look at his regeneration is obviously going to be a key thing to counter Stone Spit. However, also it'll allow him to recover from significant injuries during the battle, which is something that is very important, of course, and we know he can even come back from a single cell, so even if, let's say, Dabura stops using Stone Spit, he realizes Cell is going to avoid it, and he tears off his arm or something with a sword, Cell can actually regenerate the arm, which is a big deal, of course. We can go a little bit further with Cell's skills beyond his regeneration, and we can start talking about his knowledge, his expertise, that kind of stuff. Basically, Cell has the not only abilities, but the memories and experiences of all his constituent parts. So basically, he's going to have all the memories and abilities of Frieza and King Cold. Of course, even Frieza was around before Bardock, so heaven only knows how old he is. Probably hundreds of years old. King Cold is even older. He's his father. And then you have the Z Fighters, everyone from Master Roshi, Tien, and all the well-known martial artists from planet Earth. But you even have Goku after his training with King Kai, which was stated to be the equivalent of thousands of years of training on Earth. So we know in terms of Cell's memories with experience and his abilities, his fighting styles, he's just chock full of them. He has it all. I mean, he's not going to be at a disadvantage there, that's for sure. Then we can go on and start talking about some of his more specific skills and abilities. We know some very deadly ones are things like Frieza's Kienzin discs, which of course he can control telekinetically and have move around the field. He can even have two of them going at once. And also worth noting is that in his battle with Goku, Cell even directly talks about how he's not going to let Goku bring the discs back and hit him. So he's not going to fall for the same trick as Frieza did, which is a big deal. Another technique worth mentioning, which actually my buddy Legend here had reminded me of that I had forgotten of, is the multi-form technique. However, Cell has perfected it to the point where he does not split his power. So he can actually have 4 characters at the same time that are just as powerful as his initial self. And that's, of course, a huge deal to be able to do that. Another move worth mentioning is, of course, instant transmission. This is a big move because it allows you to teleport around, gives you more maneuverability. I mean, there's many more moves Cell can use, but those are some of the big ones there. And the final thing we should really mention about Cell is he actually grows stronger as the battle gets challenging for him because of his Saiyan cells. What this means, basically, is Dabura very well might match him at the beginning. However, if Cell finds him to be a challenging opponent, there's a good chance Cell is actually going to increase in power as the battle goes on, which of course is a huge advantage in his favor. And if Dabura hits him with something that doesn't quite kill him but almost does, that as well, as we've seen when he came back from his self-destruction, will also allow him to get stronger again because of his Zenkais. Basically, when I look at all this with Cell, they definitely start at the same raw power. Dabura does have quite a few hacks on his side, and he does have ways to win. He's not... If you were to do a percentage, Dabura could win sometimes, but I think Cell has many more techniques and abilities to use against Dabura, along with his ability to become stronger as the battle goes on. And he does have ways to counter Dabura's skills if he acts fast enough. So I think, all in all, Cell is probably going to win most of the time. What are your thoughts on that, Legend?
Yeah, so the point that I wanted to get across was, I think the point that you nailed was about the, I wanted to say the Zenkai, and initially when they start off, equal or more or less, on par with each other. If we're talking about Cell, then people have to take into account his Saiyan biology, because he is part of him is full of Goku, Vegeta, Gohan cells, etc. And if we're talking about a battle of attrition, then yes, Cell will eventually just overwhelm Dabura with his Zenkais and overall just insane battle strategy, and his sheer intellect will just overpower Dabura and just outsmart him outright.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I think overall, unless Dabura catches Cell off guard with his Stone Spit at the beginning and Cell isn't quick to act, then Cell's going to take the battle more than likely.
Yep. So I think unfortunately the big red guy isn't winning this fight. Not nothing easy on his end, definitely.
Yeah. So our conclusion, I'm thinking, is we're giving it to Cell mid to high difficulty depending on how the battle plays out.
Yep. And another thing is, we're not saying Dabura is weak by any means. We do think he wins in very, very hyper-specific circumstances. Like, for example, if Cell is just completely wasting his time and wasting his opportunities, not taking Dabura seriously, then Dabura could, capitalize on that with his Stone Spit and such, and just take him out right there. You would have no idea what it is and take him out instantly.
Yeah, I'd agree with that conclusion. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope this was enough coverage for you, and I hope this settles the debate that in Cell versus Dabura, there's no one who's going to stomp, but Cell's going to win more often than not. Thanks you guys for listening. Comment down below, and make sure that you check out Legend's YouTube channel. It's a new YouTube channel he just made, and I'm sure there's going to be lots of awesome content. Actually, we already did another video, a collaboration of us doing one on Super Saiyan 3 Goku versus Fat Buu. I think if you like this, you'll like that too, so go check it out and let me know what you guys think. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and hit that bell button to keep notified. I always appreciate it when you guys do.